We can't hear you, Louis. You're muted. And Chap was just on. He disappeared.
Hello, everybody.
What's
How
up,
you
Liz?
doing?
Hey, hey, Alex.
How you doing? How you doing? It's still my birthday today, so I'm trying to celebrate that still.
Happy birthday, brother. 35, right?
I wish. I wish.
How old are you?
23.
23. I don't know why I thought your mother posted something and said somebody was, I don't know. I saw 35, but yeah, I was going to say you got a baby face for 35.
Hey, hopefully I can keep the face.
Black don't crack. You will. You good.
Don't crack.
That's good to know.
Chap, you
right.
ain't
Hey,
cracking neither, though. Chap don't
yeah,
crack. I'm going to start saying that.
Right. Chap don't crack.
what's up, y'all?
Hello. Hello.
All right. I guess we're started live, man. Everybody, welcome to the show. Big Ev Lewis from PowerFest Motorsports, Alexander the Great from Wolfpack Entertainment, the Lone Wolf. I guess if you want to start with Alex, man, you want to introduce yourself to the group, brother?
How you guys doing? My name is Alexander. I kind of orchestrate the events that go around in the DMV that's car related. I've been into cars quite a while. Um, I wanted to make something bigger than myself. I started out as a solo rider. Made a club name for myself, the Wolfpack, as you can see here. Then I had the support, and I started throwing events, in different states and different areas. And it started out with just me and one car to me having a whole crew and bringing out people from all over the DMV and expanding areas to come out to events that I throw.
All right.
Awesome.
Welcome to the show, man. Miss Sierra, nice to meet you. My first time meeting you. I'm Chap.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a Baltimore native. I actually had the opportunity to contribute to some local political figures last season from our mayoral candidate. I used to work for Carmichael Stokey Kennedy. I am also in communications, so I own an agency called the Madison Agency. So I'm based here in Baltimore and Baltimore born and raised, so I'm pretty familiar with the landscape as well.
Welcome to the show. And Mr. Thomas.
How's everybody doing today? Happy Monday.
Happy
So,
Monday.
so PowerFest Baltimore is something we can talk about another time. But right now, I really wanted to focus on PowerFest Motorsports. And so, yeah, I'm the founder of PowerFest Motorsports, and basically, born and raised. I never heard anybody talk about that on the radio, but I mean, on our show. But you know what? Yeah, born and raised Baltimore native, love the city, live in the city still, and one of my passions with PowerFest Motorsports is to be able to help to give these young guys that are out here on these dirt bikes a place to ride legally, and also to be an advocate and a mediator between them and the law, to make sure that we don't criminalize great talent.
Awesome. Mr. Anderson. How you doing, man?
Big
Pretty
E.
good, pretty good, pretty good. What's going on?
All right. So, man, tell us what's going on with you, Alex. I saw you had an event at Mondawmin the other night. What's going on?
So that was actually last night. So basically, we're pretty much all over the place. It's not like one specific placing that it can be. We start in one location, as a chill me area, and whenever we decide to leave that spot and go to another spot, due to capacity reasons or like saying the lot orders may not want us there. So like my main focus is to find something that we can do permanent, for safety reasons. Gas is going up. Nobody wants to drive around all the way through the whole Maryland, riding around through things, minimizes, accidents like that. But it's kind of like how Mr. Thomas was saying, decriminalize the amount of talent. It's a lot of guys that's really talented that is into the car community, and we can't really showcase our skills and our love for the art of the car community world, and we don't have a spot or area to actually take out these talents. So that's pretty much, like you're saying, the big focus. But the main thing is it's kind of like a price. It's like a risk at the end of the day. Like a lot of things that a lot of people like to do and love. A lot of people don't agree with it, but as long as you see the bigger vision and you see that you have a passion for it, sometimes you just have to go for it.
Cool. So let me ask you, man, in your, I guess, in your perspective of your vision of what you guys are doing, and what does like the ideal place for you in Baltimore City? What's that going to look like, from your perspective?
You said the ideal again. Repeat the question.
Just the ideal space for for spinning and two stepping and everything you guys are doing in the cars. What does that ideal space look like for you?
If it was my decision, honestly, like the lot for Pimlico Racetrack, like, so you see like where Pimlico is at, and you see the parking lot, around it, something like that. So basically, like to say, ideal a large parking lot. Safety is the biggest protocol. Like saying, a lot of things happen, so I want a huge lot that can fit the cars. That's going to be two-stepping, revving, doing burnouts and doing donuts and whatnot. And we need areas for enough parking, because we don't want people parking on the street, holding up traffic. We don't want people parking all over the place. Like saying, people bring out their family, their kids. I don't need, minimize as many accidents and bad things that can happen. Jersey walls, just in case a car does lose control, because at any moment anything can happen. And that's one of the risks. Jersey walls. We have a pit crew that organizes everything where people can park. The people that leaving in and out of the area. So, like I said, to minimize, the whole accidents, and like I said, safety is the biggest protocol. And basically, like I said, just enough space where everyone's comfortable. You can leave when you want to leave without having to move 15 cars just to get out of the area. The biggest thing is just something where we don't have to worry about, like saying, the police, the law, lot owners contacting us to move from one spot to one spot. It's just a stress-free environment, but something big where it's comfortable, but not nothing, too big where we can't handle the amount of capacity.
And then how do you manage capacity? Like, how do people, if I wanted to come, because I'm totally new to this world, if I wanted to come, how would I find the information? Is it open to people like me? How would we support you? Like, how would we show up?
Are you talking for like if we get a legal aspect of, or are you talking about as of right now?
Right now.
Okay, so right now I have 2 Instagram pages. Yeah, I gotta ask. So like I said, yesterday I threw a meet for my birthday, which is today. I have an Instagram. I'm on Facebook, and that's pretty much my main platforms.
Plug the Instagram, plug the Facebook.
All right, so I go on Instagram. I have 2 pages. I have a personal page where, if you can follow me, update me, anything that you want to do. And I also have a card page, like named after the Wolfpack. Basically, the way it goes is on my main page, I tell everyone to, the specific page or pages, depending if I'm co-hosting with somebody. You follow the page. Usually, if I'm hosting the event, I will post a flyer up a week in advance, like, the day, the time, the weather, and all that type of stuff. Typically, so if the spot opens at 8, I will post a flyer with the address around 6. So, because I have people coming from out of state and people have to get ready and make it as convenient as possible. So I drop the address at 6, saying that it starts at 8. You come at 8 o'clock. We go there. When everybody gets there, we start having fun. And then, like saying, if the police come, the lot owner comes, or anything that happens, I go back to my page, post the next address. And it just keeps going foremost and foremost. So, like saying, it starts around 8. Generally, it doesn't end to about 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning. Then it also plays in a part. If it's a Sunday, it may end earlier. Like say, I have a job, I work. People have personal lives. But if it's a Saturday, we're out having fun all night.
Right. Still got to be responsible. That was helpful. Thank you.
So can I want to jump in real quick on. I think we kind of put the cart before the horse on this conversation here. because of the fact that I want to make sure that people understand even the passion that Alex has and other people have that are in this sport. And it is a sport nonetheless. It's not a criminal act, it's a sport. It's almost as if you found some kids playing football in the street and you put them in prison because they were playing football in the street and not playing at the NFL stadium. Basically, what the point I'm making is that the passion that Alex has is the same passion as the guys have on the dirt bikes. I want to give everybody on our panel some background, and also anybody who is tuning into the radio some background on what's happening out here with the dirt bike. And that's the biggest issue with dirt bikes and the cars. There was a story on the news this morning. I think they pulled up Zeke Cohen on it about asking him what he was going to do about what was happening in Southeast Baltimore with the dirt bike guys that are running through, riding illegally in Baltimore. Somebody made a comment that, everybody on the dirt bikes are thugs. And everybody's, they're all criminals and they're all riding stolen bikes, which can't be further from the truth. There are people that say the guys that are riding these souped up cars are thugs. And you just heard Alex speak, and he articulated himself very well, obviously well educated and very controlled. So obviously not a thug.
Most importantly, Louis said that the things end early on Sunday because he got to go to work. Like,
beautiful, right?
Like, come on,
right. So the first thing I wanted to do with you guys is, and the people listening, is to understand, to humanize ourselves about what we're doing. I used to be out there ripping and running like Alex as well, and it wasn't because we were criminals. It was because the situation was criminalized. So point being is that what we have to do is, for example, hanging a black man for looking at a white woman at one point was legal. You could get hung for that. And then people started to say, well, that's crazy, so you can't do that. So point being is that laws can change and totally change what's legal and what's illegal. In certain places where I have lived in the past, when I did leave out of Baltimore, where you could ride a dirt bike down the street legally. Obviously in Baltimore it can be very dangerous, and I get that. And at the end of the day, safety, like Alex said a couple of times, safety is the most important part of everything that's happening. But how hard is it for this young man to have to keep on moving his events, his organized events, from place to place because there's no legal place to do it? So one more point I want to make is that if you are a drug addict and you get picked up on the street for utilizing drugs, there's a program for you when you come out of jail to help you to be able to cope with your habit. I think Alex can step in and say it's true, and I think we call him Big E. Evan can probably speak on this too. Riding, the adrenaline, the speed is a drug. It's not like we do it because we choose to do it. We do it because we have to do it. And a lot of people don't understand that about us. So when they see the young men out on the dirt bikes, it's not like, oh, they just decided to go out there. They have to do it. To even talk about me personally, when I was a younger man, when I was when Alex's age, I'm 55 now, the bike used to call me just the way they say the drugs call you. I mean, I could not sleep in the bed at night at 3 a.m. I had to get up and get on this machine because it was a drug. But that being said, there has to be a program to help the people who are having issues like this. It's not like it's a choice. This is in our blood. And it's a lot of people in America who have this same thing in their blood, and they're celebrated because they're in other areas. They're celebrated. In the racing and auto and car and bike industry is a $6.4 billion industry. And our boys in Baltimore City are super talented. Our boys and girls are super talented. And we need to make avenues and streams for them to be able to tap into that $6.4 billion industry and become citizens of Baltimore who can put into the system financially and not be a draw on it. So how do we help? And I wanted this particular show to be, how do we help people like Alex? How do we help young men that are out there on these dirt bikes? How do we help them to be able to get into a situation where they're not criminalized but yet celebrated? What do we do as some of us more seasoned people or maybe more connected people? How do we help these young people to be able to have streams for that and avenues for that, to deal with the thing that they cannot live without? Like Alex said, if they're not going to make it legal, he's going to figure out a way. How do we make it where we can help them? How do we help? these young people, whether it be in a car or whether it be on a dirt bike?
I just want to comment that the one thing I heard, Alex, and I'm very encouraged by that, and maybe bringing my perspective as a white dude in Baltimore, is that the first thing I heard you say was safety, safety, safety.
Yep.
If I look at you and I see you in the car pull up next to me, or I see you out there spinning and two-stepping and making noise and stuff, that's the furthest thing from my mind just to look at you and stereotype you. Unfortunately, and I'm just keeping it real. But then to hear you say that, what you want to do, you want to find a space to create a safe space, even before decriminalizing. Your priority was safety. That is very significant, and I think that's a narrative that you need to project when you're bringing this to the table.
Well, yes, I mainly put that up because unfortunately, people have died. Not at my events, or not that I've seen personally, but this is just Baltimore City. The things that I do, it's 20 of us in each state across the whole span of America. Like you're saying, it's all on social media. People have died at events. Like you're saying, it's a Camaro flying 140 on the highway and killed like a family of 4 or 5. People spinning out and running to the crowd, and like somebody can get a concussion, and next thing you know he passes away, and the driver gets charged for manslaughter. So at the end of the day, like saying, we all families, like saying, we all like to do what we want to do and have fun with the passion, but it's all about living to do it the very next day, or the very next event. Nobody wants to swing for it to be their last swing. You want to prepare yourself, mentally, and have that space so you can, like how Mr. Thomas said, feel that adrenaline back up to go out there the next day. Like I said, because unfortunately, people bring their kids to these events, newborn babies. I've seen elderly, people there. It's a lot of things that go on, and my biggest fear is for me to host an event and it goes sideways. Anything is possible. I can't predict the future. I can't control anybody else's actions. I can tell people to slow down, but you're going to still have those people that's going to do 65 going on a 15-mile-per-hour street. I can't control anybody, but if I can make it as safe, then people, hey, I don't mind going to this event because it's organized, it's controlled. I know what's going on. I don't have to worry about a million things going on. That's the type of, perspective I want people to give me, not, it's unorganized. Everybody doesn't listen to the host. Everything's terrible. The addresses is bad. That's not the type of events that I want to throw.
I think if I can make a comment, Mr. Thomas, earlier you said, what are some of like the first steps that we need to take in order to, one, legalize this, or make some steps, take some steps to progress forward. The messaging around it is negative, right? So when you look at it from a public perspective, when people are talking about their bikes or talking about those types of things, they're speaking about it in a negative way. If our leadership, the people who are launching these initiatives, like Zeke Cohen or whomever, if they would just change their perspective a little bit and begin to speak or project a different type of messaging, I think that it'll change how people think about it or see it. That's one. Two, we all know in Baltimore City that a lot of the core of the problem is that we don't have anything to do. Our youth, they don't have any resources. They don't have any activities that they can go to, no after school programs. This is the start of why we are in the streets saying, okay, well, I don't care if you don't want me to ride the bike. I'm gonna ride the bike anyway. They're going to eventually go against what the laws are because they don't have anything set up to support them in any way, shape, or form. You can't tell me that looking at motorsports from a perspective where it's on TV and you got all of these multi-millionaires riding bikes and dirt and hills and all of that other stuff. Somebody invested into their future. Somebody invested into what they're doing because it is actual sport. I just think that if we had different leadership from a political perspective, from a policy perspective, if we had different leadership that actually wanted to buy into what the constituent, who is that person riding that bike, who is Alex, who that's a constituent, right? If we had more people buying into what they were, into, I think it'll be different. And the city could make money from it. It is another way to bring in additional revenue to Baltimore City if they actually took the time to investigate, research, bring in whomever, partnerships with BMX. I don't care. It is a creative way to do everything. And I think that if they were actually tapped into what we were doing, that it wouldn't be such of a headache to others.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to add to Sierra. So Sierra is a social media marketing strategist, brilliant person. And one of the other ladies in Baltimore that's doing awesome things is Brittany Young with B360. So partnering with organizations that are doing the same thing, same mission, same community makes you that much stronger. Also, Brittany is recognized. You know, she's now serving, I believe she's serving with Brandon. You know, she's been a fellow of several different projects. So that's the second thing, that there are opportunities to become a fellow or to almost like be an apprentice with one of these Baltimore organizations that will help you to launch a business. Someone put it in the chat or on Facebook, but starting a business behind it is one of the keys to starting the city to understand that there's revenue behind it, and it gets kids off the street. And now they can begin to train people, and now there's inspectors, and then there's all these different jobs that come along with just helping children do what they were going to do anyway. And not that you're a child, Alex, you know what I mean? But helping the youth who feels like, you know, we got to go from this place to that place, and all we trying to do is what we have fun doing, you know? So putting it in a perspective of, look, there's other people in community doing this, and we have a legal business behind it. I know that that's a lot, but nothing is stopping you from starting there.
Yeah, so basically, in different states, Detroit, for an example, they actually have a legal pit. I know the guy behind it, like saying he had contacted the mayor, and they have a legitimized safety legal pit where, you know, they come in. I don't know, like, you know, the fees that, you know, the business and numbers that go into it, but it's been done before. Me personally, I feel like the only reason Baltimore hasn't got into it is, one, like you're saying, the perspective that people have onto it. The people inside the car community, you know, with a, you know, a few others, we see it as a passion and love. But for everyone else, they just see car accidents, people running all over the place, running red lights, people complaining about the mods on people's cars, excessive revving, the music playing 3 o'clock in the morning. So I feel as though because we have a bigger side towards the bad perspective of the car community, that's one reason why like saying Baltimore hasn't, you know, offered to put into a legal pit. And two, like you're saying, I don't see that the city sees the amount of business that we can get throughout of here. Like saying, just last night alone, I had about 300 people at Mondawmin Mall for my event. If you charge 300 people each $20 right there, just to get into the spot, we're not talking about people who have, you know, permits to sell food, people who, you know, have mobile detailing washes. It's so much networking and so much where everyone can eat and everyone can chip in. Because sad to say, I feel as though the Baltimore City, they will only invest into it if they feel like it's a win. I feel as though they don't care about, you know, what we're doing, but if they want to see how beneficial is it to them, like saying, because they're not the ones inside the car community, they're not the ones with us. They don't see the passion. They just want to see, is it beneficial to us, and if it is, you know, we'll be open to it. But I feel as though, like you're saying, if we can get a message across to whoever the leader is, to relay a message of our perspective and what we're trying to do and how we can help. Okay, yeah, you see, you know, you hear complaints all day of people revving their cars and you know, blasting music and speeding. So you rather spend a lot of money on police officers, you know, moving them into the city, you know, who probably don't know what they're doing, who's not from the city, so they know how to, you know, orchestrate people with the city. You'd rather spend a whole bunch of money to try to control us to not do what we want to do, where you can take half of the money, start small, get us at least one lot, and put people in charge of that, and it's still a win-win, and it can possibly turn into something else. Like saying, when I throw my regular meets, I had people from Canada come down from yesterday for my birthday. So I can bring people from all the way, across different states. So I feel as though they don't see the bigger mission. They just go off, like you're saying, when people call and complain, they just want to minimize it and, put out efforts to stop it in regards of just helping us, get a spot, even if it's in the county. It doesn't have to be necessary in the city. Just a spot where we can go away from people so you don't have to hear them complaints. Because if you do it, I feel as though it's going to get worse. It's sad to say, more and more people, like I said, I've been doing this for 2 years. I had people come out to my events that never even saw a car spin the tires before. So the community is rapidly growing. So I feel as though we don't have a efficient plan to help, organize everything. It's only going to grow. And like saying, who knows where it can be, a month from now or 2 years from now. So like saying, my biggest focus is just to find a bigger, a move for everything.
That's good stuff, Alex. I do want to make three quick points based on some things Alex said. I mean, I'm glad you're on here, Alex, and it's our pleasure to have you because you're bringing a lot of insight to what's going on the streets out there. One of the things is that you talked about it being a shame that Baltimore needs to see where the revenue comes from in order for them really to take a serious look at what's happening. And actually, it's not a shame in a way. I will disagree. Is that we need to show them how we can bring revenue to Baltimore. That's our responsibility. The other point is that that is a shame is there's an organization called Nitro Circus, and they travel all over the country, and they've been here to Baltimore. And our Baltimore kids and our Baltimore parents spend $20 to $40 to take their children to see something that happens on the streets in Baltimore every single day for free. So these people have the audacity to come into our city, go into the arena, put on a show, charge us $20 to $40, and make us watch what we watch on Fayette Street for free every day. Somehow we got to fix that narrative. Somehow we got to fix that. How dare they send these people into our city and our boys are better, our girls are better. The third point I wanted to make is that NASCAR, every single person in NASCAR was a criminal. NASCAR is based off of bootleg moonshine, cop killers, the whole 9 yards. And these guys were coming together like Alex and having secret places to race their moonshine cars. And one of the places was the beach of Daytona. And they were organized and they were racing each other. And a man named Bill France said, you know what? I can capitalize this and bring this together, kind of like how Alex is talking, and to the people of the state that he probably sound like a lunatic, like Alex may sound to people. But this man had an idea. He bought a plot of land. He built Daytona Speedway, and the rest is history. And now they're celebrated. It's one of the largest sports in America, and these guys are making millions of dollars. And yes, Alex did make a point. Dale Earnhardt Sr., and many people know that name, he died in the sport. So it's not a safe sport, but it is made safe, and it's a lucrative sport, and if the people love it, like a Dale Earnhardt, he would have rather died there than anywhere else. So point being is that this is what we do, this is what we love, and I am so happy that Alex is talking about it. I'm so happy that you all are listening, and the people out there listening. We need to make the same plight that they made with NASCAR for our boys that are on these dirt bikes. And this new thing out that's called swinging that everybody's doing now that's pretty cool and probably a lot of people never even heard of, that Alex is like bringing to the forefront. We need safe places. We need places that are set in the place. And guess what? Like Alex said, if it's not in Baltimore City, I get that too. I understand city ordinances, so I get that. But I want to make sure that our boys and girls have an opportunity to take advantage of wherever it is, which like we right now, like Alex said, he brought people to Mondawmin. We bring people out to Anne Arundel County to a track out there by the airport, and they have a great time. And we have to bring our boys out there, no problem. Let them go out there and enjoy the track in Anne Arundel County. It's called United Karting. And they go out there and they actually do something that, and I have to share this with you all, that makes me smile every time I hear it. Our boys and girls ride dirt bikes on asphalt. Here again, what I said, I'm gonna repeat it again. They ride dirt bikes on asphalt. There is a new sport that's not that many years old called mini GP, and they take dirt bikes and they put racing asphalt slicks on them, and they race them on asphalt. The boys who have been coming to these tracks have been coming from dirt, and they cannot figure out how to navigate this asphalt. Our boys and girls have been doing it all their life, and they are dominating out there. So what I'm saying is, here's an opportunity right now, golden opportunity for our boys and girls to be able to step into a sport that other people don't even understand, and we've been doing it forever. They don't know how to navigate those dirt bikes on asphalt. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if I saw CT 137 on here. I don't know if he's still on, but Colin is one of our racers who has been getting awards his first year out, winning races. That's unheard of to win your first year out. And so I just want to have these opportunities for our young people. And how do we help get them directed to that? And the last point I'll make is that they will police themselves. They won't be on the streets, because people like Alex will say, hey guys, it's foolish for us to be on the street now. We have a place. We don't need the police to police them. They'll police themselves. Guys like Alex will keep them straight and get them to the proper places.
So I have another question. I'm sorry. Did you want to say something, Chap?
Just real quick, I just want to comment that I've actually had a couple conversations this week, and me not even being part of that culture, but my brothers are, and so therefore I am. I'm hearing that a lot, like Alex is talking about. This gentleman I met this weekend, Munir, they were talking about accountability and talking about policing themselves and talking about how important that is, and how that there are guys out here who are maybe leaving a bad reflection of what these guys really are about. And so we need to be able to lift up and amplify the voices like Munir, like Alex, people who are involved and are trying to spread that culture of police ourselves, be respectful, be safe, and do what we do. I just think we need to amplify that and make sure that that voice is being heard over the negative narrative that we're getting from the media and maybe the community that doesn't fully understand the talent these guys have. But go ahead, Queen. I'm sorry. I just wanted to comment on that.
Yeah, no worries. So I have a question with the ordinance and the zoning. Like, I know Baltimore homes can't build tiny homes for people to live in permanently, right? But one of the loopholes would be Airbnb short-term rentals, right? So that's a loophole, and that would be that. So how can we put on an event or, schedule something so that people are exposed to it? You know what I mean? It's all safe. And what is the ordinance that we have to find the loophole so that we can do this on a regular basis until said space is secured, right? I mean, that's how I think. I mean, I don't know.
I think that's a good idea.
It's actually a great idea, but at the same time, you have people in positions of power that still block stuff, regardless, even when you try to do stuff the right way. That is applying for your permits, getting your street closures, help from whether it's, the police department, MTA, fire department, everything. If people in high positions don't like it, they will shut you down, period. It's happened to me. It's happened to plenty of other people. It happens. So if they're not on board at City Hall with this person, that person, they're going to shut it down. And I'm not trying to speak of anything negative or try to knock down your idea. I love it because, Alexander, 4 hours police, everything you're doing, I done did it. I promise you. Now, from street racing in my M3, riding dirt bikes, everything in the middle of the street, popping wheelies, that was me, until I saw the bigger picture. You guys are truly talented. And then, like you said, you need a confined area where you can ensure the safety of citizens in Baltimore, whether it's Baltimore County, wherever. So it had to be in a contained area. I love it. I mean, I've been there. I've been speeds, you know, whatever. Not trying to toot nothing, but I understand the feel of it, the feel of riding, everything. But again, it comes down to people in positions of power. And the main thing that I hate is the people of color. The
Right.
people of
I get
color.
that. I get that. But at some point, it's somebody on one side of the fence and they look like the jerk. You know what I mean? At some point, people are supporting this person and it seems one-sided. And if that's the case, how do we balance the sides? Like, I understand somebody can shut it down. And that's probably why Lewis went to, another county. Maybe that's our next step. Okay, skip Baltimore, go to another county. My tiny home is in Virginia because ain't nobody messing with tiny homes in Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can we do now to prove that it's going to work in Baltimore if we decide to bring it back to Baltimore? You know what I mean? Like, the power is in the plan.
Right. Well, agreed. And we just need to, pull together. I mean, that's the main thing with anything.
I like it.
Right. So again, what's the ordinance? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, is it a permit that you need? Is it zoning? Like, how does anybody understand how that works? And if not,
I
put
don't.
in touch with the people in Detroit. Okay.
I think once you bring in a consultant, right, and you'll be surprised who would consult a platform like this for free. Just like the gentleman in Detroit or BMX or all of NASCAR, you never know when you actually tie it into not just being a sport for recreation, but this is actually something that people do to save their lives. This gets them off the street. Okay.
For sure.
Now, I've raised my kids in the county. Okay. For whatever reason, just moved out of the city. Fine. But he is a dirt bike fanatic. Okay. He's looking at me like, oh, I want this. Can you buy me this, Mom? I need. So he knows everything about that environment or that culture without even being exposed to it on a consistent basis. So it's all about the perspective, and the people with the loudest voices, they're speaking about it negatively. I think that we need to change the narrative and how we speak about it as a unit, and then go get the help that we need, and we go bring those people with the influence and the resources to speak with us and just amplify the voice, the messaging, and put up the money. The opportunity is there.
Yeah, Sierra, what's funny? People think I'm crazy because when I see the dirt bikes, like, I pull over. It's a show for me. All I see is like black boy joy and kids enjoying. Not that all of them are kids, but I see people having fun. Like, I'm never like, I can't believe these boys are like, what? Motorcycles.
My grandmother sits in the front. Okay. She's in West Baltimore. She sits on her front. It's not summer until she sees them riding Wrightstown Road. And she will tell you it's not summer until they riding up there together. Got to be a pack up.
Get Granny saying something like that on a little clip, okay? With some donuts, all right?
And that's it.
So you were all saying something that we have been talking about a lot with PowerFest Motorsports. We got to humanize each other, and we haven't been able to do that, but we need to humanize. I mean, for example, there was a big issue down in Fells Point where the actual bicycle culture was getting out of control down there. There's a thing called swerving where they actually do the wheelies and they kind of dodge cars or dodge people. And we got down there and talked to people and really helped change the whole culture down there in Fells Point and clean up the area. But the funny thing is, we met some of the riders. I mean, everybody was considering them to be thugs. One guy who was down there riding was a grad student at Johns Hopkins University and played the bagpipes. Like, who knew? And I mean, so we have to humanize. I mean, we get to talking to this guy. And we're like, he's tattooed from neck to bottom, and you think he's this thug, and he's like, oh no, I'm a grad student at Hopkins. So if we start humanizing each other, we can start to bridge that gap to saying, okay, how can we come together and do this event? And then the last thing is we do have to show Baltimore the money. I think ordinances and stuff like that will start to be able to sit in our laps if we can show them what's in it for them. It could be a shame, but it's the truth. And that's our responsibility. We have to show Baltimore what's in it for them. or we're going to be spinning our wheels like we have been doing. I mean, I know I've been hearing buzzes about a dirt bike track in Baltimore for the past 6-7 years.
Well,
So
Yeah,
I
you
think
have
that's
to
our
appeal
first
to them.
job.
Go ahead. What'd you say?
No, I'm saying I think that's our first job, is to show Baltimore what's in it for them. I think that's the first move before we do anything. Well, in coming together, like so many of you all said on this call, we definitely need to come together first and get power in numbers.
Yeah, control the narrative.
Yeah, because I'd like to comment on what Sierra was saying was like spot on. Like I said, a lot of conversations I'm having, and obviously dirt bikes are always on the forefront because that's a Baltimore thing, but also the swinging and stuff with the cars as well that Alexander organizes. These guys want it regulated, they want it safe, they want accountability, and they want to be legit. And that narrative is just not being heard. And like she said, the loudest voices are the ones complaining. We just need to unify and be louder. And it's a shame when, Ed, when Big E was talking about, the people, the policymakers don't support it, or they're afraid to make a stand or take a risk to be successful with things like this. Everybody was shaking their head. Everybody's shaking their head like, yeah, been there, done that. And that's a problem, because the policymakers work for us. So why are they questioning what we're telling them we want? Period.
they act like they work for us. That's the problem. That's the honest truth. So all I'm saying is just give us one chance. Let's prove. Whether we need to have a meeting with Mayor Scott, whatever. You come in there and give us one chance to organize something. See how it turns out. Whether it's organized, set up, you're still gonna have police there. I'm sorry, it's just what it's gonna be. But just to show them that we can do something right one time, like boom, give us a trial run. Let us show you that, hey, there were no one got injured, no one's property got damaged, no one boom, boom, boom. Give us a shot, And then to me, that's the blueprint. Once you give us one shot and then we show you, we know how to act. We know how to put stuff together. We know how to do stuff right. And in the bigger scheme of things, it's a positive outlet for kids, because not every kid wants to be a basketball player. Not every kid wants to play certain sports. Certain kids want to drift. They want to race, hit the quarter mile, eighth mile. Certain kids want to ride dirt bikes. It's just a million things that we can be doing, down to rec centers being shut down, all types of outlets. Like, come on, this is ridiculous. And then you wonder why juvenile crime is up, or this is up, that is up, because you take away all the outlets, and that's the biggest problem.
Or criminalize them for having fun on dirt bikes when they are obeying laws. But anyway, what I wanted to add also was that some of the things that that we can do, like with, I know that Brittany does, like you were talking about the spinning and the twerking. She makes it so that, kids are learning how to do these things and why it's engineering and why it's scientific, and not just, I know how to do this trick, but I can do this trick because of inertia or whatever, the scientific word is. So that sometimes speaks to people too, for, like you said, a rec center program, a schooling program, something to that degree, teaching kids how to fix bikes or cars. Like, all of these things are pieces that if the city were given us the opportunity to make it official, all of these things can be put together because they're already being done. Like, Evan, your language is give us a chance. Alexander is already doing this on a regular basis. Like, he just wants to be able to do it without people messing with him. It's been done over and over without people getting hurt. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know all about that. I know about Wabash, all of that stuff. Whether it be 70, I've like I said, I've done it. So I understand exactly where he's coming from. But for them, like me and Lou talk, for them to have a place that's not Mexico, where they're not going to get
I don't know if y'all know what that means. You might have to tell them what that means.
Where they're not going to get penalized for being in Mexico. Alexander will break it down to you, but he knows.
He
So
knows
it's
what
the same
Mexico is.
thing. So you just want an honest chance. And then, like I said, I love seeing it. It just need a contained area for them. Because if you can have the Baltimore Grand Prix and people come and have cars ripping 180 miles an hour down Pratt Street and everywhere else in certain areas, they should be, given the same chance.
It's all going to come down to one or two things. It's really, who is this benefiting? Like what
And
what
then
culture of people or what group of people is this benefiting, and what kind of money can we make, right? And
Right.
unfortunately, we're just not looked at. This isn't looked at as something that is important. When we, just like you said, we had NASCAR, was it downtown, running around downtown?
It was Indy.
Yeah.
It was Indy.
Any car downtown. But then if you look, sorry to cut you off. If you look at the dirt bike riders, you have people of Asian descent. You have, Caucasian riders there too. You have everything. They're in the city riding with us. So
Yep.
That's it.
We're legendary. And I can tell you this. Evan didn't say that he actually is one of the mentors for our motorsports, and not only are the boys racing and learning about racing, but they're learning about communicating about their feelings. When I get to the track, I'm kind of real hyped. I'm high wired, so I'm high strung. And Evan has been able to talk to these young men and keep them calm and teach them how to articulate themselves without acting out. So now they're better citizens, not just a rider, but better citizens based on what Evan has done to be able to help these young men to communicate better. We do have a program for them to be able to fix the motorcycles, to actually be mechanics. There's some guys who don't want to ride, they want to fix. And that's another $1 billion industry in itself. Now you can come down into Baltimore and fix your cousin's truck because the dirt bike runs on a combustion engine. It ain't no different than an F-150 pickup truck. So now Uncle Bob, who needed to get his pickup truck, hey, Uncle Bob, I learned this with Power Motorsports, or I learned this with Brittany from 360, and now I can fix your truck. And now the neighborhood is coming to him, and he has a blue collar job that can pay him 6 figures. So it can snowball. There's so many opportunities.
So that's why I think it's so important, because it's like we have people in the neighborhoods who are mechanics, who are engineers, but just don't know it. And that's why I think it's so important to invest in that.
How about that?
Amen. And Brittany can let them know that you guys are engineers.
And I wanted to comment, because I don't know if you saw the comment, Lou. Somebody commented in, I guess from Facebook or something, and they said, what about reconstructing the road, the highway to nowhere? Did you see that?
Yeah, so it was funny. So just side note, everybody on here, Chap and I this morning had breakfast and we talked about that highway to nowhere. That's the underpass that goes downtown from the Edmondson area. That we were talking about the fact that it's never crowded, and you could do one side with 2-way traffic and the other side could be the actual dirt bike park. And I know that Baltimore talks about dirt bikes. We don't want to ride on the dirt. They want asphalt. It's already there. The infrastructure is already there. It's safe. It's contained. And truth be told, back in the early 90s, late 80s, that was the drag strip of Baltimore. People came from all over the country to drag race there. So until it got real bumpy and they stopped. But I mean, the point being, it's already an infrastructure set up. It's safe. There's no way. And even the sound, people talk about the sound. Those walls contain the sound. You can't even hear the cars down there on that highway. So yeah, that's an opportunity right there. But again, we have to show Baltimore the money. We have to show them that it's going to be a productive financial opportunity for the city of Baltimore.
And I think another thing too is that one of the guys I was talking to, one of the 12 o'clock guys from Baltimore Bike Legends, he was saying that, people pop up, they show up, they talk about doing stuff, and then they kind of fizzle out. So I think we also need tenure. We need to show tenure and show that we're invested and passionate about what we're doing, and we're not going anywhere. And I know everyone on this call can say like unapologetically, we're not going nowhere. And we just need to show the policymakers and show the people that can open up these paths that we're not going nowhere.
And guess what? The dirt bikes ain't going nowhere. So Baltimore going to have to figure this thing out, and we can help them. But the dirt bikes are not going anywhere. There'll be another generation coming in behind them because it's part of our blood. It's in our blood. It's in my blood.
It's good stuff.
But yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. Like, even with DC with go-go music, you see so many times how people move into the community don't understand it, and they're trying to get rid of, like, the loud music with go-go, and you see how people in those neighborhoods are fighting against that, with their mayor and stuff. So I think it's important to just keep fighting back against that and showing them that this is our culture, this is Baltimore. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Hey, I know that Colin seemed that he just jumped on here. He's actually one of our racers for Power Motorsports. Colin, is there anything you wanted to comment on? I know you kind of been hearing stuff in the background. You kind of finally got on here about what you've done and what the program has done for you.
No, not really. I don't have much to say.
He just wants to ride.
So, not really a talker. Yeah, I don't got much to say.
So Alex, you've been quiet over there, man. What do we got planned coming up, man? Is there anything that you want to promote that you got coming up that we can come support?
So
definitely share your like again, like Lita said, share your Facebook and IG address as you feel is appropriate.
It's funny how you say that. What I have coming next. So after first thing I'm gonna say is like I said, I threw my meet for my birthday yesterday. I had about 500 people come out in the whole span of the night. I had people coming from different states. I had people come down from Canada coming over. But a lot of people don't see the behind the scenes. I'm one guy bringing out hundreds and hundreds of people. So I'm actually taking a break for the whole month of June. I still go out to events. I still, go out to other people who host, but me personally, me hosting, it's stressful. It's a lot to, after a while, police officers have, they have Instagram pages. So they come onto Instagram and that's how they find out the pages. Like saying, unfortunately, I don't know if, a long-term effect of this, that's part of the consequence I have to take, who knows, 5-6 years down the line, they can, serve a warrant, hey, we're finding you for doing A, B, and C. Like you're saying, you have other people, like you're saying, who basically need a break. Like saying, as just as much as it's adrenaline, it's fun to do, but I feel like the biggest thing for anybody with any type of craft, whether music, painting, whatever case you need to do, it's always a time for a period to sit back, recollect yourself, fix yourself, so when you come back stronger, you're energized, and you have a different plans and different ways to go about things. So like I said, when I first came into this, it was me, by myself with one, car. I now have a car club, just now touching 30 members. So right now my biggest focus is, making my club a unit, a pack, coming out stronger, thinking about future events. Right now I'm more focused on traveling. Like you're saying, this is just Baltimore. Every state has their dirt bike riders. Every state has their car community. My biggest thing is I'm young. Like I said, today's my birthday. I just turned 23. I want to explore um, how the car community is in different states so I can learn what they're doing, whether it's good or bad. So when I come back stronger, I know what can work for Baltimore. Whether, whether it's, going it through the legal aspect or going through the way that I'm going through now is the greatest thing that anybody can do while you're living is learn and to teach. That is the main thing, the best advice you can do. Anything that's the greatest thing you can do for anybody. Not money, not love, not anything. It's literally to teach and to learn, because that's how all of us are formed right now. You learn something from somebody. Same thing to the dirtbag, and it's in your blood. You can't pass it down to the next generation if you don't teach them. They can't. The next generation can't do what we're doing now if they're not willing to learn. So I think my biggest thing is to travel more and see how other things are orchestrated, so I know what can best help out Baltimore, in whatever route that I decide to take. Um, but like I said, my Instagram, like I said, is Alexander underscore the great underscore X. That's everything that I post there, all updates. Like I said, and the biggest thing I want to touch on, that I heard was we're not going anywhere. Like you're saying, other states that are bad where they have car meet task force, like people that specialize in, undercover police cars that come out that, fit in with the rest of the crowd, that take down license plates, that get cool with certain people so they know all the addresses. But it's all about adapting. Um, Police officers, have IG pages now where, they have fake pages that come on and, look at addresses. We went around that by having close friends or doing word of mouth or doing, if code words. So it's all about adapting. It's like at the end of the day, we're not going anywhere, but you know, it's going to get challenging whether or not the city wants to come in and help, or, they're going to force our hand, because it's just like a drug. You're going to do whatever you got to do, to get your fix, regardless of the extent that you have to take. Because if you're really passionate about something and you're not ready to let it go, me personally, I'm willing to go to the further extent, to do what I love. And what makes it crazy is just some people may see it bad, but me personally, I'm not gonna let another human being tell me what I can do with my life. I have one life in me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I want to do this, regardless of the backlash or whether it become good or not, I have one time to live. I'm gonna make the best of it, regardless of the consequences. But I'm all for living in the moment. You never know when it's gonna be your last day on earth. You never know when your loved ones are gonna go. So I'm gonna make the best of my life. I don't mind taking the consequences down in the past. I mean, in the future. But my biggest thing is to live my life, do as I please right now with the best interests of me and my peers. But you only have one shot at life. You don't get second chances. I don't want to get older and regret certain decisions that I made because I decided to back out, or I have a lot of people that support what I do and encourage me. And so it's like, and not only I'm doing this for myself, I'm doing it for other people who can't get into the position that I'm at to drop a single address saying Wabash or a Mexico address and have hundreds of people come out, because a lot of people can't do that. So yeah, I always have to remember that I'm doing it for a lot of people. It's bigger than me just now. Like, so I came in here just me and one car. If you looked at me back then, I was just a regular, East Baltimore, kid. So it's like now, to me have the position of power, I got people that, look up to me. So it's like it's always a bigger picture that, that you're not willing to see. But that's about it for me, that I gotta say.
We have a master promoter among us.
That's right.
Before we
And
get offline, I wanted to just make sure everybody had our website as well, powerfestbaltimore.org. That's powerfestbaltimore.org. And then you click on the PowerFest Motorsports link and you can find out all the things we offer with our organization and about our training and everything else that we're doing.
And I guess I'd just like to close and thank Big E for coming on, and Alex, Keon, Dason, Quita, Sierra. It's good to meet you. Hope we see you again and get you on. Just like to thank you all for joining, everybody. Thanks for watching, and definitely thank Mr. Glover for the opportunity to raise our voices. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye,
Have a
guys.
good night.
Great show. See you in a week.